Summary of the poem When I Have Fears. Okay, so today we are going to study When I Have Fears by John Keats. It's a sonnet, as I have sent you in the message, the brief introduction of what is a sonnet. Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines, which is divided in two main parts. First part consists of 8 lines and it is called an octave. The second part consists of 6 lines. 6 means sestet. And in the first part, the poet describes the main idea, the main problem, the problematic questions that he is dealing with in the poem. And in the second part, there is some form of resolution, some form of conclusion. So that's the formal layout of the poem. The first part deals with the problematic questions and important issues, and the second part resolves the problem, comes up with the resolution or the conclusion. And so first we recite the poem. John Keats, as I have told you, is a romantic poet, and as we read the poem, you have to look at the romantic features found in the poem. For example, nature, natural imagery, the theme of solitude, the themes of creativity, imagination, personal feelings of the poet, the powerful emotions, sensations, the themes of love, beauty. These are the features of romantic poetry. And we are studying all these 3 poems consecutively. First, that poem was by Wordsworth, The Solitary Reaper. The second poem is When I Have Fears by John Keats. And the third poem we'll study tomorrow, inshallah. That is Poison Tree by William Blake. So the students remember that all these 3 poems are written by romantic poets. And you remember the features of romantic poetry, and you learn to discuss those romantic elements in all of these 3 poems. Here is the recitation of the poem. When I have fears that I may cease to be, before my pen has gleaned my teeming brain, before high-piled books in charactery hold like rich garners the full ripened grain, when I behold upon the night's starred face huge cloudy symbols of a high romance, and think that I may never live to trace their shadows with the magic hand of chance, and when I feel, fair creature of an hour, that I shall never look upon thee more, never have relish in the fairy power of unreflecting love. Oh, then, on the shore of the wide world I stand alone, and think till love and fame to nothingness do sink. So you can see the first part comes to an end. The first part, that is octave of 8 lines, comes to an end at this point. And when I feel, fair creature of an hour, begins the second part, that is the sestet. When I have fears that I may cease to be, before my pen has gleaned my teeming brain. So the poet says that the poem, as I've told you, is about the fears of death. John Keats is a romantic poet who died at a young age. And in this poem, he is talking about his fears of death. And he gives the reasons also. Why does he fear death? Because he feels that he may die before his pen has gleaned my teeming brain. Gleaned means he has covered all the ideas. Teeming means full of ideas, full of creativity, mind. So he says that his creative brain may just come to an end through death before he has captured all the ideas, all the creativity in the form of high-piled books. He knows that his mind is so rich, so creative, that he can write books and books for the books and books of knowledge, but at the same time he feels that he won't have enough time to do the task. In character means full of marvelous books in the written form, books in the written form hold like rich garners the full ripened grain. You see, like rich garners, like is a, you can circle like, which means similes, and then the full ripened grain is the kind of a metaphor also, because he is using this metaphor for human mind. Grain, full ripened means complete, mature, creative ideas. So he says that he cannot overcome his fear that he may die before all this has ended. And he says that when I behold upon the night starred face, you girls must have noticed night's starred face is personification, because night is not a human being. When the poet is given a face to the night, which is full of stars, that means he has personified night. Night is non-human, and the poet has humanized night by giving it a face which is full of stars. So he says, when I look at the beautiful natural phenomena, behold means look, and look at the starred face of night and huge cloudy symbols of a high romance, and he feels the romance, the beauty. Romance in romantic writers means the beauty of nature, the beauty in human beings. So he feels that he looks at all these displays of marvelous displays of beauty all around, and he cannot he immediately has his fears that he may not be able to observe and capture all this beauty, immortalize it in the form of the written word, in the form of poetry or in the form of books. These are his fears, these are his reservations. And he says, and think that I may never live to trace their shadows with the magic hand of chance. And all these things that he wants to trace, and the element of magic in the beauty of nature, he says that he cannot imagine how he would be able to capture the magic hand of chance. Chance is life, and the possibilities in life, and all these elements in nature. These are his fears. And here comes the end of the first part, that is octave. And when I feel, say, begins sestet, the second part, where you see the conclusion, the resolution of his fears and the problems he has mentioned in part 1 of the poem. He says, and when I feel, fair creature of an hour. Fair creature of an hour means, fair creature means human being who is beautiful, or could be anything that is beautiful in the world of nature, found in the world of nature. So he says that when he feels, I feel को आपने he feels लिखना, I नहीं लिखना, because if you write I तो फिर वो अलीशा ताहिर हो जाएगी, वो आयशा हो जाएगी. You have to write he. So the poet says, when he feels that fair creature of an hour means beauty which is temporary, which just disappears, which is impermanent. An hour could be a hyperbole. Hyperbole means exaggeration. तो वो राइटर जो है वो एग्जैजरेशन यूज़ कर रहा है कि वो उसको लगता है कि जल्दी से ये चीज़ें ख़त्म हो जाती हैं, ब्यूटी लाइफ में ख़त्म हो जाती है, इम्पर्मानेंट होती है. यहाँ पे उसको रेजोल्यूशन समझ आ रहा है. वो जिन चीज़ों के लिए परेशान हो रहा है, आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ही इज़ कमिंग टू द अंडरस्टैंडिंग, अ डीपर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ हाउ लाइफ वर्क्स. Therefore, he says that he realizes that beauty, no matter how marvelous, how complete, comes to an end, that I shall never look upon thee more. Again, he is referring to his own death. Never look upon thee. Thee old English में you को कहते हैं. आप दी के ऊपर you लिख लें, तो वो कभी मैं उनको देख नहीं सकूँगा ब्यूटी को. Never have relish in the fairy power of unreflecting love. Unreflecting means one-sided love, non-responsive love. जैसे one-sided love होता है ना, there is no response on the other side, but he calls the power of love as the fairy power. इससे पहले भी इसने वर्ड यूज़ किया magic. So the fairy power, the magical power of love, relish means enjoy. He says that he would never be able to fully enjoy the magical power of one-sided love because he fears that he will die early. Oh, then, on the shore of the wide world. Here the poet has used metaphor because he hasn't used like or as. He has directly compared the world with a vast ocean, and he stands on the shore of the wide world, and he stands alone, and he thinks, till love and fame to nothingness do sink. So here comes his understanding, his resolution, his reconciliation. Reconciliation means acceptance. The same message that Maya Angelou, that the other poets, Elizabeth Bishop in One Art, they have been sharing with you. Maya Angelou, Elizabeth Sewell in that poem, New Year Resolutions. I have told you girls, if you make connections, students, once you learn to make connections, ideas, concepts become very clear for you. So the poem comes to the same conclusion that that he realizes the impermanence of all the beautiful things, emotions, and passions in life. All the beautiful things such as love, fame, beauty, life itself. What is life? Life is made up of the beauty and love and fame, as well as difficulties, sorrows, troubles. All these things combined make up life. So nothing in life is permanent, neither the beauty nor the loss of beauty, neither the joys and comforts nor the troubles and sorrows.